Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Michelle Ferguson and I'm the crochet pattern designer of Two Brothers Blankets. Today I'm going to show you how to crochet the Radiance tank top. The Radiance tank top is a beautiful, lightweight summer tank top. It's perfect for warm weather. It's super cute and trendy. For this project, you're going to need some DK weight yarn. I used We Crochet's woolen cotton. It's a DK weight. It's a wool cotton blend, 50% merino wool, 50% Pima cotton. I have the colorway Cedar Heather here, but I've only got one hank left of this, so I'm going to be using a different yarn for my tutorial. For the tutorial, I'm going to use Lion Brand Kabu. It is also a cotton blend. It is 51% cotton, 49% rayon from bamboo. It's a DK weight. It's got a great drape to it, and it's really nice. So I'm going to use this for the tutorial. Hopefully it'll be a little easier to see as well than the green. And then you're going to need an H 5mm crochet hook or a hook to obtain gauge. And I'm using the Furl Streamline wood hook. So I will link all the yarn and materials that you'll need for this project in the description below. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, for the tank top, we are starting with the neckline. This neckline is just a band that we're going to create using front post stitches. And then we are going to attach our yarn and work in rows till we get to the bottom of the armholes. And then we're going to connect to the front and the back to create the bottom, which will be worked in rounds. For the band, it's going to be all the same number of stitches for all the sizes. And then from there, I'm going to be working the size medium. You will need the written pattern if you're working any other size. You can grab that on my website or get the printable PDF on Ravelry or Etsy. So let's go ahead and get started with this band. All right, for the neckline, we are going to start by working 90 foundation double crochet stitches, and we're going to join, and that's going to be our round one. So I will link to a tutorial for the foundation double crochet stitch, but I'll also just go through it really quick with you right here. To start your foundation double crochet stitch, you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to work into the third chain from the hook, which is that very first chain we made. I like to work into the back bump right there. So I'm going to yarn over. I'm going to insert my hook into that third chain from my hook. I'm going to yarn over, pull up a loop. I have 3 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to pull through one of those loops. And now I have 3 loops on my hook again. I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2 of those loops. And now I have 2 loops on my hook. And then I'm going to yarn over and pull through those 2 hooks. So I've created my first foundation double crochet stitch. And as you can see here, it looks very similar to a double crochet stitch. And then here is the top of my stitch. And down here is the bottom of my stitch. And that's where I'm going to be working to create my next one. I'm going to yarn over. I'm working into the bottom of that stitch I just created. So there's 2 loops down at the very bottom. I'm going to insert my hook into those 2 loops, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 1 loop, 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, 2 loops on my hook, and then yarn over and pull through 2. So I've created a second one. And I'm going to do the same thing all the way until I have 90 of those stitches. So yarn over, insert my hook into those loops at the bottom of my stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 1, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through 2. So I have 3 double crochet. You can see on the top, 1, 2, 3, and then here's my bottom where my loops are. So I'm going to continue doing that now until I have 90 foundation double crochet stitches. I've completed 90 foundation double crochet stitches, and I'm just going to slip stitch in the first stitch to join that round. So that is our round 1. Okay, now we're ready for round 2. So for round 2, we are going to do a long chain and we're going to do a front post double crochet around our first stitch. So that first stitch, we're not going to turn, we're just going to work one front post double crochet around that first stitch. And then our next stitch is going to be a regular double crochet. And now we're ready for our repeat. So we're going to do one front post double crochet, one double crochet. And we're going to repeat that all the way around and then join with a slip stitch to our first stitch. I'm going to do that now off camera and I'll meet you at the end of the round. Alright, I've completed round 2. I've got my front post, double crochet and double crochet alternating each stitch. And so for the rest of the neckline, it's rounds 3 through 5 and it says to repeat round 2. So we're just going to do the exact same thing that we did. We're going to do a long chain. We're not going to turn. We're going to work our front post double crochet stitch around the front post double crochet that we just did. Just like so. And then our next stitch is a double crochet. And then one front post double crochet. And one double crochet. And I'm going to repeat that all the way around. And I'm going to do that for rows 3, 4, and 5. So I'm going to do that now off camera. And I'll come back and show you how to do the bodice of the garment. Okay, I've completed the neckline. The band here is 5 rounds of your front post, double crochet, and double crochet alternating. So now I am ready to start the back panel. So for the neckline, it says we are going to fasten off. I'm going to do that. Okay. And we got our seam here. Now it says to count back 15 stitches for size medium from the joining seam and join our yarn to the next stitch. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I'm 15. So I'm going to join my yarn to this next stitch, the 16th stitch from my joining seam. I'm going to go ahead and do that. All right. And then it says this is row 1, we're going to long chain and we're going to do a herringbone double crochet in the first stitch and in each stitch across for 31 stitches. So that was 1, and then 2, 3. All right, I have done 31 herringbone double crochet stitches for row 1. Now we're ready to start row 2, which is where we will begin our increasing. So we're going to get bigger and bigger outwards to create like a triangle, and that's going to be what covers our bust until we join for the armhole, underneath the armhole. So for row 2, we're going to do a long chain and turn our work. We are now turning each row. It says to do 2 herringbone double crochet stitches in the first, and I have a tutorial for the herringbone double crochet stitch that I will link to if you are unfamiliar with this stitch. And then it says to do 1 herringbone double crochet stitch in each stitch across until you get to your last stitch. I'm going to do that now. All right, I'm to the last stitch and I'm going to work 2 herringbone double crochet stitches in that last stitch. So I've increased by 2 stitches and I now have 33 herringbone double crochet stitches. So now we're ready for row 3. For row 3, we are going to chain 1 and turn our work. So row 3 is single crochet stitches, and so we're not doing any increasing in this row. We're going to just do a single crochet in the first, and then we're going to chain 2 and skip 1 stitch, and then we're going to single crochet in the next. And we're going to repeat that all the way across. So chain 2, skip 1, single crochet in the next. Chain 2, skip 1, single crochet in the next, all the way across. All right, here is through row 3 completed. I finished out my last stitch as a single crochet stitch. So we've got chain 2, single crochet, chain 2 across. Now we're ready for row 4, which is chain 3 and turn our work, and that's going to count as our starting chain 2, our starting chain plus a chain 2. So that's the beginning of our chain 2, and it says to single crochet in the first chain space. So that's here, and I'm going to do a single crochet around it. And then it says to chain 2 and do 1 single crochet in the next chain space. So instead of working into the stitch, we're working our single crochet in the chain space. And we're repeating that across. So chain 2, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, all the way across. All right, I'm at the end of row 4. I've done a single crochet in this last chain 2 space, and then it says to do 1 single crochet in the last stitch. So we had a single crochet here. I'm going to do a single crochet to finish out that row. So that is row 4. For row 5, we're going to chain 1, turn our work. We are going to do 1 single crochet in the first stitch and then 2 single crochet in the next chain space. So we've got 3 right here, and then it says to repeat across our 2 single crochet in the next chain space. So every chain space across is going to have 2, you're going to work 2 single crochet. And you're going to repeat across for this. All right, we've completed through row 5. You should have 33 single crochet stitches at this point. Okay, for row 6, we are going to chain 1, turn our work, and we're going to do 2 single crochet in the first, so we have another increase here. 2 single crochet in the first, 1 single crochet in each stitch across until the last stitch, and then 2 single crochet in the last stitch. And we'll have a total of 35 single crochet at the end of this row for size medium. All right, I've completed row 6. I have 35 single crochet stitches. So for row 7 and 8, I am going to repeat row 2. So I am doing another increase. This time I'm doing the herringbone double crochet stitch. So long chain and turn, work 2 herringbone double crochet stitches into the first, and then 1 herringbone double crochet in each stitch across till the last, and then 2 herringbone double crochet in the last. So I'm increasing by 2 stitches each for rows 7 and 8. So I'm going to go ahead and do those 2 rows now. All right, I just started row 8, and I realized that from here on, it is just repeats of rows 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And for a size medium, I'm working all the way to row 19, doing the different repeats. So I'm going to go ahead and go through all those from 8 to 19. I'm going to go ahead and work that up off camera and show you what it looks like. And then that's the point for a size medium where we'll fasten off and start working on the front. And I'll show you how to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. All right, I have completed through row 19 of the back panel for size medium. And then it says to fasten off. So I'm going to do that. And then we're going to move on to our front panel. So we have our back panel here. This is what it looks like. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So it says to skip 14 stitches from the last stitch of row 1 of the back panel. So we started here. This is our last stitch. I'm going to count 14 stitches from there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All right. And then it says join to the next stitch. So I'm going to join to this one here. All right. And then it says to repeat the back panel. So we're doing the exact same thing that we did before. So we are going to do a long chain and do 1 herringbone double crochet stitch in the first stitch, and in each across for a total of 31 stitches. 1. All right, I have worked 31 herringbone double crochet stitches. I'm facing the right side, and this is what it looked like. So basically we're just going to mirror the back panel, and then when we are done, it will all fold in half and it will connect down in here at the armholes. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat all the steps for the back panel, which is rows 2 through 19 for size medium. I'm going to do that now off camera, and then I'll show you how to join both panels together. All right, I've completed the front panel here. And this is what it looks like. So you got your back panel and your front panel. And now we are going to join them. And that's going to be our underarm area. And then we'll be working in the round the rest of the way. All right, so I did a long chain, and I'm going to turn my work, and I'm going to do 1 herringbone double crochet in each stitch across for the front panel. All right, I've worked to my last stitch, and then it says to do 2 herringbone double crochets in the last stitch. So now I am ready to start working on my back panel. So I'm just going to grab my back panel. I'm working on the wrong side, and it says to herringbone double crochet across back to last stitch. So we are now on our back panel, and we're just going to work into that first stitch, do a herringbone double. Oops. And we're going to work one herringbone double in each stitch across until we get to the last stitch. And that has joined that side of our panels. Alright, I'm at my last stitch and I'm going to do 2 herringbone double crochets in the last stitch. And I'm going to take my front panel here and I am going to slip stitch to join. And I'm slip stitching to that first herringbone double that we did. Alright, and so now I have created a round, basically. And I have 100 stitches for size medium. And now I'm ready to do the body. Now, I want to point out a few things. It does seem small. You might think, oh my gosh, that doesn't give me enough coverage. Let me zoom out a little. You will add a trim to this that you can make as thick as you need. If you feel like you need to keep increasing, even with the trim, you can do so. Just continue on to the next size or whatever. So for medium is where I stop here. I could keep increasing. I think actually for medium, it's like medium through 3X, you stop here. Because of the repeats, it's a plenty big enough armhole, and then the trim is added. But if you feel more comfortable increasing some more, you can do that until you feel comfortable. Totally up to you. But you don't want a giant armhole. That's the thing. And so the armhole this is going to be like right at the bust, just big enough for the armhole. And then we're going to add trim to give you that coverage that you need. So that is the neckline, front panel, back panel, and then the joining round. So now I am just going to start working the body, and I'm just working in the round and adding length to the body. There is still going to be some increases because, like I said, this is right at the bust. We're going to need some more space in there. So we will do that as well. But we have joined at this point. So now we're ready for the body, and I'll get you started on that, and then we'll work on the trim. All right, for round 1 of the body, we are going to chain 1 and turn. I think technically it says turn at the end of each round instead of the beginning, but that's how I do it. So yeah, we're going to do a single crochet in the first stitch, and then we are going to chain 2, skip 1, single crochet in the next, chain 2, skip 1, and single crochet. We're going to do that all the way around. Since we're on an even number, we will end our repeat ends with the chain 2, skip 1 stitch, and then we'll join to the first with a slip stitch. So I'm going to do that now. All right, I've completed the first round of the body. I've joined to my first stitch, was that first single crochet with a slip stitch, and now I'm ready to start round 2, which is also our chain spaces. So I'm going to chain 3 and turn, which counts as our beginning chain and our single crochet. And then I'm going to single crochet into the first space, chain 2, single crochet into the next. So we're not doing any increasing on these 2 rows yet. We're just doing our chain spaces like we were doing before. And I'm working all the way around, and then I'm going to slip stitch to my first stitch, which is going to be the chain 1 of the chain 3 to join. So I'll go ahead and do that now, and I'll meet you at the end. All right, I've completed round 2 of the body. I've joined. to my chain 1 with a slip stitch to join my round. So for round 3, I am going to chain 1 and turn, and I'm going to do 2 single crochet in each chain space around, and then I'm going to slip stitch to the first stitch to join. So I should have 100 stitches again at the end of this round. All right, I've completed round 3, joined with a slip stitch to my first stitch, and ready to start round 4. So round 4 is where we start increasing again. And so you're going to need to follow the pattern for whatever size you're doing to determine what your increases need to be and where. For size medium, I am going to chain 1, turn my work, and I am going to single crochet in the first 9 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then I'm going to do 2 single crochet in the next. So in that 10th stitch, I'm going to do my increase. So now I'm going to repeat that. I'm going to do 1 single crochet in each of the next 9, and then my increase. And then 2 in this one. And I am going to repeat that all the way around and slip stitch to join. And at the end of this round, I'm going to have 110 stitches. So I'm going to do that now. All right, for round 5, we are doing the herringbone double crochet stitch. And we are increasing again. So it says for size medium to do a herringbone double crochet stitch in the first 10 stitches. Yeah. And I'm about to run out of yarn, so let's see if we run out first. Six, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. And then we are going to do 2 in the next. So that's our increase stitch. 2 herringbone double crochet. Like so. And then we are going to repeat that. So 1 herringbone in the next 10, and then 2 herringbone in the next. All the way around, and then slip stitch to join. All right, I've completed round 5, and I now have 120 stitches around, and I need to do 1 more increase for size medium, which will be round 6. I am going to, it's also a herringbone double crochet round. So I've turned my work. It says for round medium to do a herringbone, 1 herringbone double crochet in the first 11 stitches, and then 2 stitches in the next. So our next stitch will be the increase stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, and then 2 herringbone double in the next. All right, so I'm going to do that now and repeat all the way around. All right, I am done with round 6 of the body, and that means I am done increasing. So now my repeats are just repeats of these, the chain space single crochet stitches, the 2 single crochet stitches, and the herringbone stitches, but it will be just 1 stitch in each stitch around, which would be, for this size, is round 7 through 12. And so I'm going to be repeating round 7 through 12 the rest of the way until I get to the length I need for my body. I believe it is round 30, and then I repeat round 7 through 10 for 31 through 34, and then I start my trim. So I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera since it's just repeats. I'm going to work up the rest of the body of the tank top, and then I'll show you how to do the bottom trim and our armhole trim as well. All right, I have completed my rounds for the body, and I'm ready to start on the trim. So I didn't fasten off or anything. I've just worked through, I believe it was rounds 34, and now I'm ready to start the ribbing trim. So for this, I am going, like I said, I didn't fasten off. I am going to, let me zoom in a little, chain 9. 6, 7, 8, 9. All right. And then I'm going to work into the back bump of my stitch, and I'm going to do 1 single crochet in the second chain from my hook and all the way across. So I'm going to have 8 single crochet. All right. And then I am going to do 1 slip stitch in each of the next 2 stitches of the body of my garment. So that very bottom round. And then I am going to, now we're ready for row 2. We're going to chain 1, turn our work so that we're working into these stitches here. So we're going to do 1 single crochet in the back loop only in each stitch across. So 8 single crochet, we're working in the back loop only. And then I usually do both loops for that last one, just to give it a nicer edge. Right there, like so. Okay, that's row 2. Row 3, we're going to chain 1, turn our work again, and do 1 single crochet in the back loop only, all the way across for 8 single crochet. All right, and then slip stitch into the next 2 stitches on your garment. Chain 1, turn. For round 4, we're going to repeat row 2. 1 single crochet in the back loop only of each stitch. 5, 7, and then the last one, I'm going to do both loops. That's what we have so far. And now for the rest, we are going to repeat rows 3 and 4 all the way around the bottom. And we are going to join with slip stitches each end here to create that bottom ribbing trim. So I'm going to go ahead and do a repeat of rows 3 and 4 all the way around. And then when I get to the back to the other end, I'll show you how I join it and finish off. And then we'll work on the trim for the sleeves. I've completed the entire bottom ribbing and I'm ready to join it to my beginning chains. So I am just going to chain 1 and I'm going to lay them right next to each other like so. Make sure you can see it all right. And then I'm going to insert my hook into the back loop only of my last row, and then the back loop only of my starting chain right there. You can still see there's some loops, and I'm going to slip stitch to join them together. And I'm going to do that for each one all the way down for 8 stitches. Whoops. And that is all I'm going to do to join the ends so that it's in a round. And then for this last one, like I always do, I'm going to do all the loops and slip stitch. And then I'm just going to fasten off. And we're all joined. There you go. It's very similar to the ribbing already in there. And it just looks really nice. I love a good ribbing trim. So now we're ready to do the sleeve trim. And then that's all we have got left. So I'm just going to show you real quick how to do that, how you can make adjustments to that if you need more coverage. And then we'll be finished with our tank top. So let's do that now. All right, I've got my armhole here and I'm ready to start my trim. Let me get situated. And it says to join yarn to top of armhole along the side of row 1. So we've got row 1 here. This is our first row. We did herringbone double crochet stitches. It says you will be working around armhole in rows and turning. So the way we're going to do that is I'm going to join my yarn along the side of that row. And we're going to be working down and back up the armhole. So for row 1, it says to chain 1. It says evenly work 43 for this size, single crochet around armhole and slip stitch to next stitch at bottom of neckline. So that will be over here on the neckline. So I'm just going to work one single crochet in each row. And I'm going to work along the side here as best I can. Try to keep it neat looking and even. How many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. All right, I'm back up at the top here on the other side, and it says to slip stitch into the next stitch from the bottom of my tank top, of my neckline. So I'm doing that stitch here. So let's see. This is the neckline. These are the stitches on the bottom of the neckline. I'm just going to slip stitch into the next one that doesn't have anything worked into it. So that's what we have. And it already looks nicer, doesn't it? All right, so now we're going to do another row, 2 rows of single crochet. And we're just going to chain 1 and turn. So now we're working on the wrong side, and we're going to go back up to the front for our second row. All right, I'm back to the other side, and I'm going to do the same thing that I did in row 1. I'm going to slip stitch to the top of my, or to the bottom, technically, of my neckline. So that is 2 single crochet rows. Now we're going to do 1 more, chain 1 and turn, and we're back on the right side, and we're going to go back to the other side. All right, I finished row 3. I'm going to slip stitch to the bottom of my neckline, and I have completed my first set of trim. Now let's talk about adjustments. I would fasten off here. I'm going to fasten off and leave in my ends. But if you need adjustments, if you need more coverage, because it is a slim bodice of the bust area, you can continue to do rows here and make this a nice thick trim. You can also do this ribbing trim along the arm the same way that you did before. You can work it in rows, just across and then slip stitch. You could do the top here, this along the, if you need a thicker band, and then this you can really test out as you're doing it to see how much of a band you need, and that would match really well with the neckline if you needed like a more of a band for thickness. Plenty of options for however you want to do it if you need that extra coverage, like I said. So that is how you make the Radiance tank top. It's really quite simple. It works up quickly. And I really enjoyed working with this Kabu yarn for the tank top. It has a really nice drape, a little more drape than the other one. But both are really great yarns for this tank top, and I will link them all in the description. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'm happy to help. I hope you have a wonderful day. Please subscribe to my channel. Thanks.